Right out of the gate, I was getting this feeling during this interview. A lot of the mainstream press outlets, they're in on it. They are not looking out for us. You realize that they're no longer even doing investigative journalism or journalism of any kind. They're simply setting up push and pull content they can dramatize. Well, in the meantime, you know that they are insulated and they are letting Trump get away with everything. Doesn't matter how adjacent to authoritarianism we are. They're just putting all their chips in and monetizing this bitch. And we are going to be left out in the cold. You can just see it. They are working together. This was just one of those interviews where I wonder, how are we going to survive this? When our media ecosphere that is supposed to be holding this man accountable will let him lie and lie and lie with absolutely zero pushback. And he transparently says one of the craziest things I've heard a president say that should literally destroy the man's credibility. And it just went right by the reporter as though she wasn't even paying attention. Have a look. Every time we see this guy open his mouth, it becomes painfully obvious that he has no fucking clue like what's going on. He is so dumb. He is like fucking brain dead, and we're just headed for disaster where he doesn't even understand his core policy, right? The cornerstone of his entire fiscal policy is about tariffs, but he doesn't even understand tariffs and the concept of a trade deficit. He does not. He doesn't get it. He's like stupid. Like stupid. We're talking, we're talking like failure stupid. You know what I mean? Oh, God, dude. Meet the press, baby. Meet the fucking fascist wannabe fucking moron, bro. Jesus.
Being here to mark your first 100 days in office. It has been an incredibly busy 100 days. You've signed more than 140 executive orders. You've been focused on the border, the economy, foreign policy. What is your biggest goal in the next 100 days?
Dude, can we just look at him, dude? What a fucking schlump, dude. Look at him, dude. What a cucklord fucking schlump. He's just like, grievance. You're mean to me? Oh, Trumpy.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of results. We've already seen them on the border. We have the best border in the history of our country. It was 99.999, and nobody ever thought that was possible. In fact, Biden, if you remember, said he has to get legislation. And I said, no, you just need a new president. And I guess I was right. We have the best border we've ever had. We're doing great on it.
Well, you can say goodbye to that Alien Enemies Act there, homie, now that you're touting the fact that you solved all the immigration problem. There's not a judge on the planet that's going to let you use the Alien Enemies Act to remove people, right?
Illegal immigration. We are being hit hard by judges that I think they're trying to take away the power of the presidency. I was elected in a massive landslide in a big...
Dude, what the fuck, bro? I was elected in a massive landslide. And again, no pushback. He was not elected in a massive landslide. 1.4%, didn't even get 50% of the vote, bro. Dude, it's infuriating. We're 56 seconds into this thing. And he's already just a huge fucking lie.
Big vote. We won the swing states. We won the popular vote. We won the district votes by tremendous numbers. We won everything. And one of the primary reasons I was elected was to get people out of our country that were allowed. We have prisoners. We have murderers. We have terrorists in our country. We have people from mental institutions that are seriously insane. They all came in through Biden's open border policy, and I was elected to get them out and to seal the border, but to get them out. And we'll have judges, they're activist judges, they're saying, well, you don't have the right to take out murderers and people that you don't even want to talk about. These are some really bad criminal people, and they're here illegally. So, they talk about your next question will be due process, but they talk about due process, but do you get due process when you're here illegally?
We're going to talk about all of that. We are going to talk about deportation, but I want to start on the economy. sir, which obviously the biggest issue for voters. We got new numbers today, better than expected job numbers.
Much better.
At the same time, the economy shrank in the first quarter. You've been arguing all week that this is President Biden's economy. Is this now your economy, sir?
Well, I think certain aspects of it are. Costs are. I was able to get down the costs, but even that, it takes a while to get them down, but we got them down good. We lost $5 to $6 billion a day with Biden. $5 to $6 billion. And I've got that down to a great number right now in a record time. You know, we're talking about 100 days. But just think of what that is. $5 billion a day we're losing on trade. And we were very tough with China, as you know. We put 145% tariff on. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. And we've essentially cut off trade relationships by putting that much of a tariff on. And that's okay. We've gone cold turkey. That means that we're not losing. You know, we lost $1 trillion to China. $1 trillion.
First off, we didn't lose $1 trillion, okay? It means we received $1 trillion more worth of goods. We didn't lose anything. We sold them a bunch of stuff and got money for it, and then we gave them money and we got a whole bunch of shit. We didn't lose anything because all of that shit that was purchased was then used by American citizens, or it was used in products that were then sold elsewhere. So this idea that we lost $1 trillion, no. If I buy $1 trillion worth of whatchamacallits from a fucking candy business and they don't buy anything from me, I have not lost $1 trillion. I now have $1 trillion worth of candy. I can eat my whatchamacallits until my fucking head pops off, bro. Right? But this is his fucking, we have $1 trillion worth of shit. We have no money. Like, what is he thinking, bro? What is he thinking?
That means we're not losing $1 trillion when we go cold turkey because we're not doing business with them right now. And they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal very badly. We'll see how that all turns out, but it's got to be a fair deal. But think of it. We're losing $1 trillion. And that was a big part of the $5 million a day.
On the eve of your inauguration, the stock market spiked. You called it the Trump effect. It
spiked because I was elected president. Well, it spiked because of anybody else. It spiked because they see what I'm going to do. They know what I'm going to do with the tariffs and everything else. And I think it's actually working out better than we anticipated. Did you see oil prices? Did you see gasoline is now below, in many cases, in many states, below $2 a gallon?
Now, why is she nodding her head there? There is no fucking gas in America that is below $2 a gallon. There was actually somebody on Twitter who posted saying, MAGA, send me a picture of you with a dated receipt having gotten gas for under $2 a gallon. And there's no pictures under that fucking tweet, bro. Not a one. There is no gas that is under $2 a gallon. Dude, you know, this is fucking insane. And she's not fact checking anything.
198, 199, 197.
Well, my question, sir, is when the stock market spiked, you said this is the Trump effect. When the numbers weren't so good earlier this week, you said it's the Biden effect. Are you only taking ownership of the good numbers and not the bad numbers?
Well, I think he did a lot of very bad things. And despite some of the bad things, we're overcoming them. But he was.
See, what is the point of this line of questioning? Okay. I don't understand what she's doing here. She's letting him spew lies. And she's trying to get him to what? To admit that he only takes credit for the good and everything that's the bad he blames? We fucking know this. Goddamn, bro. She's getting paid like $500,000 a year to shovel this shit? Like, what the fuck are we doing here, bro? The fascist fucking geek is sitting in front of you and you're like just giving him the double tug? Dude, I get irritated, man. Like, what are we doing, bro? We know he does that. Like, pin him against the wall. Like, you know, make him fucking sweat. Hold his feet to the flames.
Bad on the border. He was bad on the economy. We had the worst inflation in the history of our country. Look, Biden gave us the worst
not.
inflation in the history of our country.
Was not.
People, it didn't matter what they made because they
Incorrect.
were losing their shirt because of costs. Now take a look at what happened. Oil is down, gasoline is down, groceries are down, eggs. You were the one that asked me. You asked me about eggs. It was the first week. I didn't even know anything about what were you talking about. Egg prices were so high you couldn't buy eggs. They didn't have any eggs. And they said Easter is going to be a disaster. Well, we had Easter at the White House, and we had thousands of eggs, and they were down 87%.
Yeah, a lot of that, of course, spike was because of bird flu. But when does it become the Trump economy?
Why do you say that?
Well, tell me,
we had the same bird flu as he had.
When does it become the Trump economy?
It partially is right now, and I really mean this. I think the good parts are the Trump economy, and the bad parts are the Biden economy, because he's done a terrible job. He did a terrible job on everything. From his auto pen, which I'm sure he knew nothing about some of the things he was supposedly signing, to...
It's actually depressing, right? It's actually depressing watching this, because it's like they treat this guy like a fucking toddler, okay? And they fucking hand jive him, and they like, you know, create excuses for him. They sane wash his shit. They never hold him responsible for anything, right? They don't. They just let him wriggle out of this shit. And it becomes painfully aware that he is fucking useless and brain dead and has no concept what the fuck he's doing.
The tariffs have just started kicking in, and we're doing really well psychologically. I mean, the fake news was giving me such press on the tariffs. The tariffs are going to make us rich. We're going to be a very rich country.
So let's talk about the tariffs. And I want to ask you about something you said this week. Got a lot of attention. You were at your cabinet meeting. You said, quote, I'm going to quote what you said, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30.
Yeah.
And maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. Are you saying that your tariffs will cause some prices to go up?
No, I think the tariffs are going to be great for us because it's going to make us rich.
But you said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I think they can have 3 dolls or 4 dolls because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable. We had a trade deficit of hundreds of billions of dollars with China.
When you say they could have $3 instead of $30, are you saying Americans could see empty store shelves?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't need to have $30. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
Dude, so first off, what the fuck is he talking about? It's like this guy has never spent any time with a kid. He's never bought a gift for a kid. He's never bought $30? What fucking kid is $30? He pulls 250 pencils, right? And then what is she doing? What is the reporter doing? The reporter's like, oh, are you saying there's going to be empty store shelves? Dude, we know there's going to be empty store shelves. The fuck are you talking about? Why do you need him to say this? Why are you doing this, right? Dude, what the fuck, bro? 30 dolls? Dude, the doll thing. He's never once bought a gift for a kid. She's so lame though. Dude, why can't boys have the dolls? Dude, I'm about to like stick some fucking pins in my doll, bro. Right? Dude, I'm gonna fucking do some voodoo shit here in a minute, right? Like right in his fucking head, bro. Right? We're talking right in the fucking dome, bro. Jesus Christ, boss. Dude, it is fucking brutal. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.